Okay, are we live now? Hope we are. You should have seen us running around the basement here. When we started Quilt Cam, it was only my profile photo, and the camera on the newer laptop wasn't connecting. So can you see me? I'm red in the face. I'm red in the face. I'm so angry with this thing. But I see the little lights going on the bottom sidebar here. So it should be that we have sound. Do we have sound? Are we ready to go? Can I sit in my chair now? Hopefully. I'm going to turn this to the machine. I'm going to come around. The hubby wants to see me, so he needs to go to my blog.
I am.
Okay, now you have to refresh this page. Don't go to the Quilt Cam tab. I've got help in the studio this morning. Hang on just a second. Go to the post at the top of the page.
Yeah.
And then scroll down to where you see the screen. This is called a big technical snafu. There should be a screen for Quilt Cam, and you push the arrow to see it live. You see it?
It says YouTube video.
Click it. But, let me see what you're seeing. Bring it over here.
This.
No, that's not right. You're not on the blog.
Well, I was.
So we do. Okay. No, so no, we want, no.
All
Can
right.
you get me to the blog page? I don't even know if we are live. So somebody send me a message if we are working. Hopefully we are. We needed to refresh the page. I deleted the old feed because it wasn't functional. This is functional. I need to hear from somebody. Okay, that's right. Now, if we scroll up the page, try to Quilt Cam. Watch this on YouTube. And it's not, there we are, we're on. We're on, okay. Wow, you guys, this has just been an absolute nightmare. Between no audio, then no video, and then a second embedded try. Hopefully you're fine with us here in the basement now. I just heard a ping come in. You know, oh, there comes another ping, probably telling me the first one doesn't work. If this ever happens, and it seems to happen quite a bit lately with Google Hangouts and YouTube and whatever it is, sometimes the audio drops out, sometimes the video doesn't work. If you give me 5 minutes and then you come back to the page, you know, go fix yourself a drink, get yourself something to eat, come on back, and then refresh the page. We'll have a new feed embedded, and that's where we are today. So my friend Irene just sent a message. Oh, I see you. I see you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's check. My friend Kevin says you are on YouTube, but not on blog. And that's because we deleted the old feed and just embedded this new one. You know, it's Google Hangout. So here's the thing. There's really no way to test it without going live. And if you go live and it doesn't work, then everybody tells you it doesn't work. But we're here. We're here. So, and whether you can see me or not, whether you're here or not, whether you lift or not, I'm going to sew. So this is what I'm working on today. And for those who missed it, you know, this will just be in the archives, and it'll work in the archives, and they'll wonder what happened. Those of us who are here get to see. I'm sewing on my green 1950s electro hygiene. I'm going to push this back a little bit so that you get a better view. I love this machine. I bought it off of eBay because I loved the name, and it was green. And what else does a girl need? So another addition to the studio here. See this light bar back here? I've got it out of the way because where it's attached, I can use it at either this machine over here, my Singer 301 that you can't see is over here. I use that for binding. And I can swing it over here for right here. And I don't know if you can tell how much light this has. It has amazing light. It's a daylight LED light bar. And I picked this up on the cruise. I actually bought 2 of them. I bought one, that's awfully bright in my eyes. I bought one for the cabin and one for here. And the on-off is just by a little button on the sidebar, and I'm absolutely thrilled with it. Of course, with camera, it works better not to have extra lights because they're awfully glaring. So what's going on here at the cabin? Or I'm not even at the cabin, at the house. Wishing I was at the cabin. I have 2 finishes. I finished quilting Spanish Rose late yesterday afternoon, early evening. And you'll see that the batting is still attached. I can stand up a little bit. Ta-da! Batting is partially trimmed, but still attached. And that's because I'm going to use this as a sample to do a binding tutorial while filming my next workshop series at the offices of Quiltmaker Magazine in Golden, Colorado. I leave tomorrow morning. So this is an almost finish, but here's that's how things are going. So this was an emergency quilt. My friend Irene, I owe her my life. And I brainstormed on putting this together and getting things down to the wire. Last night I finished writing the instructions. I did all the piecing instructions on top of her applique instructions, so she helped me with that and a PowerPoint and everything. And I can't finish the pattern and get it to the students until I get the binding on and get finished photos. And I can't do photos of batting hanging out everywhere in this pattern. Now the pattern, because it has applique instructions and piecing instructions and all that goes with it, is about 6 pages front and back for about a total of 12 pages of print, but we can condense it by printing on both sides to 6. But you multiply that by 50 and it's like a full ream of paper, and our luggage is already going to be overweight. So I'm thinking of contacting Craft Tours and sending out one email tomorrow saying there will be a pattern coming. It will come to your inbox as soon as these photos are, the finished photos are on it, and that they need to print that pattern and bring it with them on the cruise, because the weight of the paper is incredible. Plus, I can't risk that. What if they lost my luggage and the patterns weren't there? And this way, if everybody prints their own and brings it, if somebody loses theirs, we could probably make copies on the ship, but it wouldn't be all in one thing. So that's what I'm thinking there. This will get bound on my workshop series. The other finish, if I turn the camera, tumblers is done. You see that on the long arm rail right there? 3,425 tumblers. That's how many it took. And it didn't make a dent. It didn't make a dent in the scraps whatsoever. What I'm working on right now, remember these? Recycled shirts, 4 patches, 10 string blocks. These are all the caramel, mocha latte kinds of colors. Got these going on. I need 15 more to finish the quilt. And those 15 middles are right here. And what I've got to do is add the sashing strips to the triangles, and then the triangles and sashings to the block middle. So that's what I'll be working on today. This is a pattern for my next book in the pipeline, so no pattern or no sizes can be given out right now. I'm going to check the inbox to see who's joining us today. Kathy Vickers said sound went out. I don't think so. Ann Gunthorpe says, I can still see the green lights moving back and forth. Nope, sorry. Mary Rudd Dieter says you are live on YouTube. So if you can't ever find it on the blog, it might be that you need to refresh, but you can always go to YouTube and find it. Like I said, if we lost most of our audience because of the snafu of the camera going down, at least we can have these lives and they can catch up on it when we have a chance. So this one, Paula Jo David, hi girlfriend from Kansas. She says, you're good. Okay, so she's got this current second feed. Susan Erler says, yay, Orca Bay progress. She says, thanks so much for having Quilt Cam today. We appreciate you trying so hard. It's not pretty, especially when I have a hubby in here who's also trying to help but doesn't quite understand the way things work. At first he wanted me to sign in on his laptop, and I thought, but my login and all of my bookmarks and all that stuff are not on your laptop, and that's going to take longer. So this is the older laptop that the sound went out last time, but my little green light bar is going back and forth as I'm speaking at the bottom of the screen, so I think it's fine. Back to Orca Bay. I'm working on Orca Bay in spice and fall colors. Put a few pieces together, not sewn yet, to see how they'll turn out, and I'm liking it so far. I will keep going. I need to make more pieces. And so she's got her photo right here. Let's see if I can turn it sideways. Boop. Will it go? There we go. So there's her autumn colors. She's got oranges and rusts and greens, blacks and neutrals in her Orca Bay. There's some little units off to the side there to show how this comes together to make these beautiful blocks. That is my favorite quilts of all time, so I'm really thrilled. This year's mystery, it's underway. Have I been home to sew it? No. Tammy says yes. I'm so for all the technical difficulties. This is my first live quilt cam, so she's here. Hello, Tammy. So glad to see you. Like I said, it's always a circus. Mary Ellen Adams says quilt cam is working now, so it looks like yay, you're up and running. You are live. It's working. I see you, and this is from everybody. I see you. Yay, quilt cam. Awesome. So let's do some sewing. I'd love to see pictures of what you're working on as I work on what I'm working on. And will this bother anybody if I turn just this much light on? I don't think it will. Things I absolutely love. The Cars guy. The Cars guy's in here because it was always too dark to be a regular neutral, but it works in these really dark and murky, sandy, beige taupey tones. So what I need for each of these centers is I need to find 2 matching pieces and sew them on either side. The last time I actually was to work on these was at Irene's. When was that, Irene? June? When did I come to Kentucky, I think? May? Maybe? Who knows? Searching for a foot pedal. Okay. So I wound a bobbin on here earlier, so. And the pressure and the stress just leaves the building. We can sew pieces. And then we can have our thread bumble up. What happened there? A bird's nest. How did that happen? Oh, because I think I'm out of bobbin thread. No. Oh, I'm out of top thread. Can this just be one of those days that doesn't get a do-over, but we just laugh the entire way? I wound another bobbin of a different color on this machine last and forgot to replace the thread. So you get to see how this class 15 is wound. I really like having the tensioner on the outside because it keeps my field of vision uninterrupted, but it makes threading just a little bit interesting. What have I done here? I forgot the guide. So if you want to send me pictures of how things are going in your studio, hopefully it's going a lot better than it was here. There we go. You can email those to me at quiltville@gmail.com. In fact, email is probably the easiest way to reach me for all of Quilt Cam, because going back and forth to the blog page to find comments sometimes doesn't happen. There comes one. And I'm one of those who still loves these good old-fashioned silver needle threaders. Threading a machine sideways makes me feel like I have to put my head down on the table to see where it's going. So the needle threaders are my friend. And still depth perception comes to raise its ugly head. Here we go. This is a class 15, so it threads from left to right. And we'll bring up that bobbin thread and we'll be good to go. Maybe. Here it comes. Okay. Are you laughing with me? Ah! It's just one of those days. Okay, so let's see if we can get this going. You know, if we get all of the stuff out of the way, then there won't be any issue. I was trying to think to myself if there was a way for 50 people not to tell me that the sound is out. So chances are, if you are commenting on the blog and somebody above you has already said, Bonnie, the sound is out, I will get that one, and I don't need 200 people telling me that the sound is out. I know you mean well. There's no way of knowing who else has told me. Isn't that machine just make a delicious little stitch? Wonderful. Okay. I'm going to do this one too. So these strips are cut extra long so I can just kind of center on them and then trim later. And we are sewing. Woo. While I'm sewing, we can talk about that leader and ender thing, because I've got piles of cut triangles right here. These triangles were cut with 2-inch strips and my new ruler tool. This is the Essential Triangle tool. If I turn it that way, can you see the lines? It's got red lines going this direction, and it's got green lines going across. The green lines are for quarter square triangles. See how that fits on there? So it's easy for me to use the ruler on the strip to quickly cut quarter square triangles in the size that I need. Now, if I'm being really smart, that means I'm putting 2 strips right sides together and I'm cutting them into already matched pairs so that they are ready to sew. And that's how I did several of these. They were ready to sew. Just feed the pair through the machine. Now, as I'm feeding these through the machine, I am feeding them through with the flat spot hitting the needle first and the darker of the 2 fabrics on top, because I am trying to shade these. Here's one that's sewn so that you can see it. You see that I've got 2 lighter ones here, 2 darker ones here. This was a Millennium Y2K fabric. If I sew them with the darker one on the top, when I press it to the dark, and then I put these 2 pairs right sides together, I've got that top seam allowance pointing up towards the needle, and that helps those seams nest better. So I sew them all the same direction, pointing towards me, flat corner at the top, and the darker one on top makes it really easy to assemble. Now, if you are careful with what you're doing and you sew them all the same, can you see how you can pinwheel the seams on the back of this hourglass unit very easily in the center, and then all of the seams go around in a circle? That helps all of the 4 patches, or 4 patches, they kind of are a 4 patch. They're made out of 4 triangles. All of the hourglass units nest with each other no matter which way you turn them, because all of the seams are circling the same way. I will soon have enough to be putting my row of neutrals outside my orange center. This is my orange center. This is as far as I've got. And a sort of pile of random hourglass pieces so far. This is a very easy quilt to make. The diagram for coloring it the way I'm coloring it is on the blog under the free patterns tab at the top of the blog. Scroll down to H for hourglass. You can do any pattern that uses hourglass units somewhere. So if you're doing Orca Bay, your hourglass units for the Ohio Stars can be the leader ender for the year. You can work on those while you're working on the other things. Any project that has hourglass in it is what we are doing this year for our Leader Ender Challenge. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited enough that I cut a bunch. Here's 2 that are, one's darker than the other. I'm going to put them right sides together. And if I was smart, I would have cut these right sides together. But I think these were left from leftover flying geese from another project. So they didn't need to be cut right side together. And I'm going to sew. Leave that under the machine and cut behind. So my leader and ender is here. Let's see if I angle this screen just a tad. There, now you can see. Now you can see. So this is my leader ender here, and it's going to stay. Now these little guys, turn the iron on here. My heart is still racing after everything we had to go through to get this to work today. And it's not over because I still haven't packed for Denver. So this is me, one single woman with 3 huge suitcases and a sewing machine and a rolling tote. I am taking the black 301 with me to Denver because last time I filmed a workshop with them, I had to sew on some cheap white plastic thing that I wasn't familiar with. And it had really wide feed dogs, and I'm trying to do half square triangles, and stuff is getting stuck down the needle hole, and seam allowances were getting flipped the wrong way, and you're trying to do this with a smile like you know what you're doing, right? This year I decided I'm taking my own machine. That's it. I'm taking my own machine. So when Dave brought the featherweight home that became the cheddar featherweight, it was in its case, but he didn't want to carry it. So he found the soft-sided cooler that fit the featherweight in its case down inside, and it fit the overhead bin of the big plane he was on. So first things first, am I flying in a big plane? Yes, I've got 2 big planes. I'm going from Greensboro to Atlanta, Atlanta to Denver. And if it does not fit the overhead bin for any reason, I've taken the 301, I've put it in a just a fabric tote bag. Inside the tote bag, stuck that inside the soft-sided cooler. The soft-sided cooler has a handle and wheels, so it's going to be just like wheeling my laptop bag. But if for any reason it doesn't fit, that 301 will come out. I'll have it in the tote bag that will fit under my seat or in the overhead bin, and I'll have to gate check the cooler. But at least I will be able to wheel that through the airport. So that's the plan. It'll be an adventure. Be watching. I'll let you know how it goes. So 2 matching sashings. They look like sailboats, or those little paper hats that we used to make out of newspaper. And I'm just going to set these on here. And they only have to be sort of centered because there's room for me to trim. I come back from Denver on Thursday. I've got Friday to get caught up on some things. Saturday, we have a dinner that we have to go to up near the cabin. We're going to spend Saturday night at the cabin, come home Sunday, pack Monday, leave for Barcelona on Tuesday. And in the meantime, finish the pattern for Spanish Rose and get it to all the cruisers so that they can print it out before they go. I sure hope this works. I sure hope this works. Okay, so that goes on there. So we can now tag team just a little bit. I'm going to take 2 more matching ones. Truth be told, what I should say is that the students really only need to bring just the applique part of the pattern with them. So maybe I'll break that down, and this is how brainstorming works. My brain eventually kicks in. If I send them just the PDF pages for what they need to print out and bring, that'll happen during the cruise, that's probably going to be my best idea yet. And then they can have that printed out, but then they can print out the full pattern later. Okay. See how fun that narrow sashing is? It gives place for all of these seam allowances to land. So they are both pressed towards this little narrow sashing. And the sashing is a brighter white, so it kind of helps this not blend into this so much. It just becomes a place to land. Okay. My wrist is on vibrate. The sound on the phone is off, but it's vibrating my wrist like a bumblebee. Okay. So what have you got going on in your world? Has summer slowed down for you at all? Are kids getting ready to go back to school? Grandkids getting ready to go back to school? I was unable to attend a wedding in Arizona yesterday just due to logistics. It's just too much travel, just couldn't get there. And because I have to be in Denver on Monday, there was just not enough time with everything, especially with emergency quilt deadlines. And my nephew Spencer got married, and I'm so excited for them. And the pictures that were coming over Facebook were just lovely. And these family memories and moments are so important, just so important. So I hope you've got some of that good kind of stuff going on. Since we had our last Quilt Cam fiasco, I was able to turn an airport snafu around and find myself in Salt Lake City overnight. So I got to go to my sister's house and finish the scene. Then I can talk. Went to my sister's house. It happened to be Pioneer Day in Salt Lake City or in Utah. And that's a state holiday. They all take that. It's a 24th of July holiday, and I think it runs on the Monday that falls after the day or whatever it is. There was fireworks and barbecues and all kinds of stuff. It was like being there for 4th of July, Utah's birthday. So really, really excited to spend that bonus evening with them. I got in about 2:30 in the afternoon. We had time to run some errands. We went to Costco. We did a couple of things. Got to hang out with my nieces, met my brand new niece and nephew. One of them is almost 2. My nephew is almost 2, and my niece is just over 1. And I got to meet them both. Very exciting, and I'll be going back there again in November. So here's this block. Looks kind of scary, but as soon as we trim it up, it will be looking nice and square like this one. So that's 1 down, 14 more to go. Let's check in with those messages. You are on YouTube, but not on the blog. Okay, that's Kevin's message. Yes. Tell us about the Caribbean cruise. Is there still space? Yes, there is still space as far as I know. The information for the Caribbean cruise is under the Caribbean Cruise 2016 tab at the top of the blog. And we had so much fun on our Alaska cruise. I would love to see you join us on our Caribbean one. All the information is there. If you click that tab, it'll take you to my page on the Craft Tours website. All of the particulars are there. I've never met anybody who hasn't had a good time on our cruises, and October would be a lovely time to get away. So join me if you have a chance. Would love to see that. And she says, Irene says, loving Quilt Cam, working on split 9 patch at the studio where internet is so much better. And I was in Kentucky in June. Seems like forever ago. It was only a couple months ago, but it's just been go since. So yes, Caribbean cruise information. Next year, I have a trip scheduled for China and Thailand, and those 2 are back to back. So you could pick one or other or both if you're really adventurous. Of course, there'll be no sewing machines involved in that. When it's a land tour, there's just nobody's going to travel with their sewing machines and getting sewing machines set up when we'd rather be exploring another country. We just don't do sewing machines on land tours. But we're going to go to China. We're going to see the Great Wall of China. We're going to see the Terracotta Warriors. We're going to do all this stuff. And that's on my bucket list. I'm very excited. It's next November. That's also on my Craft Tours page. So you can click the Craft Tours China 2016 tab at the top of the blog as well. It's all there. Cruises for next year. I have to check my calendar and see where it will fit in, because the schedule is too jam-packed. In fact, I'm so afraid I'm going to run out of gas. I just keep going. But I'd like to slow it down enough that we can fit in some more of these fun things. I think that 3 cruises in a year is probably too many. I will have, cruised in July, cruised in August, cruised in October this year. And I think maybe 1 cruise, 1 land tour is what I'd like to shoot for. I need to get that a little bit more balanced. You really can't say yes to everything, although you want to. So A. Jackson says, finally got you. This is what I was working on before you came on. Now I am going to start working on some charity quilt blocks for my guild. Thanks for spending Sunday afternoon with us. And she sent a picture, so I know it's working on her side. Actually, that looks like the view from here as I stare at the laptop. So glad to see what you're working on. She didn't send a photo of what she's doing, though. But that's fun. So good to hear from you, AJ. Gay Bomer says, sitting on the back deck in Traverse City with my not-so-helpful helper, Zoe. We're stitching down scalloped binding on a beautiful summer day. Thanks for Quilt Cam and all your hard work. You're a treasure. I was so excited to meet Gay of Sentimental Stitches when I was teaching up in Traverse City. March? Was that March? I think there was still snow, so it had to be March. But I've been so familiar with her name for so long and the wonderful reproduction work that she does. And I even went to her booth. I stalked her booth at Quilt Market last October, before we left on that Caribbean cruise. Or was that 2 years ago now? It was 2 years ago. Holy cow. But she wasn't there. I met with Brenda Papadakis, but Gay was out wandering the floor, so I didn't get to get my fan photo with her there. But she came to my workshop, and that was really fun. So it's great to hear from you, Gay, and consider you a real in-person friend now. She's got oh, that's so cute. Yeah, there's not a lot of binding help happening here. But she's outside. I can see the sunrise, or the sunlight, and look at those beautiful scallops. Gorgeous. We love our quilt helpers. So glad you could turn in and tune in. And the cherry coffee at Traverse Pie Company is like the bomb. Okay. Ingrid says, oh my goodness. I watched Quilt Cam in Morse, Germany, and applique English paper pieced circles onto a quadrate, which I would think is a square, all made from recycled shirts. And this is from Ingrid. It says, gesendet von Yahoo Mail auf Android. But she's working on some applique circles. So she's done the English paper piecing, so they're on a nice sturdy foundation, and then it's easy to applique them down to the background squares. Can't wait to see what you do with these, Ingrid. These are wunderbar. Okay. I love the recycled shirts. The recycled shirts are so great. Barb Ostermeyer is treadling today. She says, enjoying Quilt Cam this afternoon while treadling 32 pillowcases to go to various children's charities, laughing at your technical issues while I had my machine threaded incorrectly, causing horrible tension issues. Now that we have all issues solved, let's sew. I agree. Thank you so much. So here's a picture. See if I can biggie that just a bit. She's working on her treadle, so that's the historic part. That's the vintage part, but she's got her modern laptop right there, watching Quilt Cam and sewing along. You know, there are just some things that we have no control over. But the one thing we do have control over is how we react to any situation. And so it's poor hubby trying to help me with my problem. Here, just log into my laptop. I can't. My bookmarks aren't there. It'll take too long. Let me just plug in this old one. Well, okay, so he goes to the blog. He says, where do I find you? Where do I find you? He's on Facebook. No, it's not on Facebook. Go to the blog. Well, I'm on this post. Well, where are you? Well, scroll down all the way, and you'll find it. Okay, there it is. So funny. So this triangle's going on. This is the next triangle for it. And I think I'm just going to use this is the problem when you have a stack like this, is that sometimes I end up using the next triangles as my leaders and enders. If I can find two that match. I want to get these done. So, Barcelona. Some of our gals are going to Barcelona a couple days early. And they'll be meeting up with us when we arrive. Oh, look, my Avast antivirus expires in 8 days, and it just covered up the entire screen. Oh, great. Okay. And so they're going to see all kinds of cool stuff. Now, when we get there, because we can't check into our hotel super early, we are boarding a bus and doing a panoramic tour. I'm meeting up with the rest of the people some of them are flying from JFK, some of them are coming on, depends on where they're flying into, and we're all meeting in Barcelona at the airport. And we're flying out of Atlanta direct. So we will meet up with Mary Ellen, who was with us in Peru and with us on our last cruise, last October, Caribbean. And she will be our tour person. She'll be our escort. and we are boarding a bus, and we'll get a nice panoramic tour of Barcelona, which I'm so glad for, because we have all of that day, and then we sail the next day on the cruise out of port in Barcelona. And I was afraid I wouldn't get to see Barcelona at all, and I'm really excited. I've been going around the house singing, well, I've never been to Spain, but I kind of like the music. You know, quilters are insane, man. And they sure know how to use it. So if you were a child of the 70s, you'll recognize that song. Alrighty, so this one is on, and I am needing one more. Leader entering strips on triangles and sewing onto blocks as we go. So as soon as Quilt Cam is done, which we probably ought to give everybody a reprieve and just continue it longer than normal since we had such a rough beginning. I've got a pack. And one of the things going with me, or I should say 11 of the things going with me, are the quilts from the new book coming out. And I have not let them out of their tubs yet, but they have come back from C&T, so they're ready to go. And I'll be packing those into the big blue rolling duffels, and then my clothes I think are just going to go in a small carry-on, because I'm really only going to be there for Tuesday and Wednesday and fly home Thursday, and then the rolling sewing machine and all the stuff that I need for the online workshop. So I have to take all the stuff that I normally use. So I've got the quilt samples, I've got block step outs, which is, you know, partially constructed so we can show how things fit together. Rulers, rotary cutters, scissors, thread, pins, seam rippers, because I will likely need it. And you're taking everything just like you were going on retreat, only no real quilt project to make. So I'm hoping if I get into Denver in time, I might be able to do some hotel room sewing. Okay, so here's the blue one. Aren't these fun? I think these are really going to be very, very cool. Just wait till you see what they do for the quilt. The first place I have to stop after picking up my rental car is, well, I get to go to the hotel and check in, but I have to get a manicure. And I've been up at the mountains. I've been outside in the yard. I've gone everywhere. I wake up sometimes in the morning of something has bitten me, and I have a bug bite on my hand right here. I don't know if you can see it. I tried covering it up with makeup, so hopefully you can't see it a whole lot, because these hands are going to be on camera and there's going to be a bug bite. So if you don't find this exceptionally gross, please let me know because it looks better with makeup on it than it does without. It just, maybe it'll look like a mole or a freckle. But I would love to find some time to hit some antique malls in the Denver area. That would be fun. Let's check in. Deborah Hanna says, greetings from La Palma, California. I so enjoy Quilt Cam. Thank you for just hanging in there with us, Deborah. She says, I'm working on a 1930s quilt for my aunt's 80th birthday. I hope to get it to a top this weekend. 1,964 pieces. I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can. Short seams. Just keep sewing. Don't think about the pieces. Just keep sewing. I also acquired a black 301. A short bed and a cabinet. The cabinet was really rough, so I have refinished it, and a Singer 1591. So much fun. Here's some photos. Look forward to your next workshop here next June. Love you. Take care, my friend Debbie Hanna. Oh, Debbie, this is so cute, and it shows you. I love it. So here's Debbie, and she's got her projects right there. All 1964 pieces. But we're not counting, right? We're just sewing. You're just going to sew. Don't count. You can count after the project's done. At least that's the way I work on this. When I finished the tumbler, I didn't count until all the rows were on and it was pressed. It was like, okay, now I can count, or I'm going to feel like I'll never get there. I love this. Look at all those pieces. Those things looks like some churn dash blocks in there, some other fun stuff. That's great, Debbie. She's also got a picture of, ooh, nice. I'm going to show this one because it shows the two side by side. So here's her little black short bed 301 and her 1591. And if she's got both of these machines, she's pretty much got all she'll ever need. These are wonderful machines. I just love them. Looks like the 1591's in the cabinet. Looks pretty good. It looks, are you missing a slide plate? If you need a slide plate, you can contact Cindy Peters at earthlink.net and she'll set you up for one. Tell her that Bonnie sent you. Here is the black 301 short bed. Looks in pretty great shape too. What I love about the 301s is that they take featherweight sized bobbins and featherweight bobbins, you know, and case. So they're very, very easy to work with. Love the 301, and that's why I'm taking that with me to Denver, because if I'm going to do a binding demo, I am not doing it on a plastic computerized wonder machine that I'm not familiar with. I use a 2-inch strip for my binding. I do a 1/4 inch finished binding because I like the binding filled tight to the end and have just a bit of binding showing. And I would never be able to get that with their walking foot. So I packed my walking foot. I've got my seam guides. I've got everything. Susan says, kissing coins. This is a OneDrive file. Let's see how I open that. She says, I'm working on a Missouri Star Quilt Company pattern called Kissing Coins for my niece's graduation in May. Time, she says. It's hand quilted, so it's taken a while, but ready to start the border. So she shared this file. Let's see if this opens up if I click it. Okay, so it's doing something. Open, 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 open. Get the OneDrive app, it says. Oh, here it is. Oh, that's hand quilted. That's beautiful. Look at this. Look at the rows and rows and rows of quilting in those white X's. Can you see it if I hold the camera just right? That's beautiful. And of course, purple, green, and turquoise. What's not to love? She is going to love that, and you have got to be her favorite aunt for hand quilting that. I love that. Gorgeous. Okay. Catherine Hobbs, how are you, girl? She says, thanks for Quilt Cam today. I'm not sewing today, having just returned from number 2 son's wedding weekend, and a fabulous time was had by all. So while my nephew was getting hitched, so was her number 2 son. Just to let you know, your webpage says the video 2 has been disabled by the owner. You are fine here in London, England on YouTube. So those who are watching on YouTube. Not a whole lot we can do about fixing it on the web page right now, but it was probably me typing in the link wrong. I have to start the feed, copy the embedded code, email it from the laptop to the big desktop, go to the big desktop, get the email, copy the code, paste it into the blog, hit send. So somewhere along that chain, I likely screwed up. That's okay, because then we'll just be able to put this feed in the archives and it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So that'll be just great. Thanks for tuning in, Catherine, and happy to your son and his new bride. Paula D. Mattel says, Quilt Cam working on some, or is it D. Matei? There's not an L, it's an I at the end. Pardon my eyes. I'm working on some English paper piecing today. There's our blocks to Missy Carpenter's Gardens of a King quilt. I'm also mulling over what hourglass layout I would like to work towards. So excited about this year's Leaders and Enders. Love the current project, says Paula. And here's her photo. Oh, wow. So she's doing some really gorgeous work there. Very small pieces, lots of tiny little diamonds and triangles and things going on in there. I love it. I love the busy work. I really honestly do not count pieces. I just like to sew. So let's get these triangles on here. I'm just kind of centering this because I have enough room to trim. It just needs to be sort of centered. I think I need a little longer stitch length. Maybe a little bit more of that. I'm trying really hard not to stretch the bias on these triangles. Okay. And here's the other one. So my question is, for the ladies out there amongst us, do you get manicures? And is there a kind of manicure that is not the shellac stuff that will last me 2 days? Because every time I have that shellac put on my fingers, it peels up the top layers of my fingernail, and my hands look awful for months afterwards. I'm not a fingernail polish wearer. I prefer not to have anything on my nails for many reasons, but I have to have a manicure for this workshop. I don't like doing the shellac. I don't want anything that I have to go into the shop to have them take off. I just want to be able to take it off with regular nail polish remover or something. But that shellac stuff, it's just horrible. It doesn't come off, and every time I do it, I regret having done it. So if you know of something that really works, or something that I should request from whichever place I end up going to, please let me know. Okay, so here's I'm just looking for strips that match from these piles here. I got the pedicure yesterday. That was wonderful. But there has to be something that's not as hard on your hands and on your fingernails as that shellac stuff. Okay. Somebody told me the other day, now that it's August, that it's really only 2 months just about until yardage requirements go live for the mystery. So I'm thinking 2.5 months. We will do our best to get you the yardage requirements by Halloween. God, I need a break. I need a break. So as soon as I get home from the Mediterranean, the book orders will go live on the website. The pre-orders will start. I got information on the new ruler that the book may be out before the rulers arrive. So if you are wanting the book and the ruler in the same package, just wait, and I will let you know when those are available, when I have both in stock. But book orders will start pre-ordering as soon as I get back from the Mediterranean. We get back on September 1st. If I can write it all ahead and get it live or ready to push live, I can get that started. I didn't want to do it while we were out of the country for 2 weeks, just because the last time we did something really big with book orders, it took my website down. It took the whole web store down. It was just insane. So I'm hoping you guys will feel free to just trickle and not order it all on the same day at the same time. But I'm really excited. It's been a long time coming. Waited a long time for this. That seam doesn't match really well. What happened there? Oh, too bad. I'm really excited about the whole book. How about this? We matched the machine. Isn't that fun? This is going to be a great quilt. Just wait. Just wait. So book pre-orders will happen soon, but here's the thing. Pre-orders mean nothing. Pre-orders just put you on a list, but everybody they're all gonna go out just fine. So if you want to wait for the ruler tool when it's available, I will blog about those. I will post about those as soon as those are available, and I may even do a bundle thing. So that would be pretty awesome to bundle those together in a package for a special price. So you may want to hold off, but if you feel like you want to pre-order, September 1st is your date. As soon as I get an internet connection and can send that live, September 1st, we'll be on our way home from Barcelona, but they'll be ready. Okay. So So where are we? I'm going to go to the top of the list here. We've got photo Kevin74 says, we're so grateful for your tenacity. Can I really look that up? I really want to know what that really means. To share Quilt Cam with us amidst your beyond hectic schedule. Perhaps you should take some chocolate to bribe flight attendants in case you run into trouble with a sewing machine. Does that work? Does that work? The machine will be fine, even if I have to gate check the soft-sided cooler, because it's come home on a plane in an overhead bin before. So as long as I don't get waylaid onto some wackadoodle regional jet, I'll be fine. I personally know flight attendants and quilters can be bribed with chocolate. You shouldn't have any problems. Safe travels. So much fun. Oh, here's a manicure post. Manicure post. I agree. Hate shellac. Ask for a regular manicure with regular clear nail polish. It should last a week and come off easily without any damage. And this is from Judith. Thank you, Judith. Carolyn Sands, manicure. Get a really nice manicure and have nails done in a clear or almost clear polish. That way you can recoat your nails the night before. Hope this helps. Best of luck on your travels. And she's from Lake Jackson, Texas. I agree. I was thinking of just a very, very clear, not even a French tip. My nails are not that great. I've been trying to grow them out a little bit, but I'm busy with my hands. I don't want long nails that need painting all the time. The maintenance is just too crazy. Monica Hayden says, nails. Have you tried gel? I haven't, but a friend swears by it. I have the same objections as you do to the other nasty stuff. I don't know the difference, but if the gel nails don't come off easily, then I don't want it done, because it peels up the top layers of your nail. I mean, it's horrible, awful, and the only way to not have it look horrible, awful is to have them do it again on top of what they've just taken off. And so I just don't think that's good. Cheryl says, eek. Hi from the UK. Can't believe I'm catching you live, as Quilt Cam is normally on way past my bedtime. Just having dessert after a barbecue, so no sewing to share. I really enjoy your blog and love your style. Well, thank you, girl. She says, you are a great inspiration. Will you ever be coming to the UK? All the best, Cheryl. So I was having a little chat with my mate, Stuart Hilliard. Those who are in the UK know Stuart Hilliard. And he says, he was teaching actually at Liberty of London, and he says, you need to teach here. I can get you to be able to teach here. You may have to plan it a bit out, but would you like to teach at Liberty of London? I can put you in contact with who you need to be in contact with. And I said, yes, as soon as my calendar clears out, because although Liberty of London would have to book me out this far, I'd have to book Liberty of London out this far. But yes, that kind of is what I'm hoping for 2019. There are a couple things that I have already scheduled into 2019, because I needed a place to put big things that I really wanted to do, like teaching for 2 groups in Hawaii. There was certain things that I was not willing to say, I'm not booking you yet. Certain things on my bucket list are going to happen in 2019. So the response was from a quilter who was poking around on my calendar and pushing arrows to see how far it would go, came back at me with, it's unfair of you to schedule these people when you won't schedule others who asked first. And I said, actually, I didn't reply. It was like, delete, because this is my life. And my life is more important than who got in line first, or who thinks that they are more entitled, or who thinks whatever. Good grief, people, we sew. That's all we do. We put little pieces of fabric together, and it's cannot be more important than my life and the way I want to run it. So I'm taking the reins back on my life, and I'm going to teach in Hawaii in 2019, and that's booked. And I'm going to teach for empty spool seminars in Asilomar in 2019, and that's reserved. And I'm going to do some other things. I'm plugging in the big things that I want to do, and I'm sorry if that leaves anybody out, but I have to take control. So am I ever coming to England to teach? Yes, hopefully at Liberty of London, and maybe we can tag on a couple of other places as well, and I will save a big chunk of that for 2019. I'd love to come out for a couple of weeks and see what we can do. So let the powers that be know about that. But even in your own life, don't let other people's agendas take charge of the vision that you have for your own life. Your own life should be more important to you, and what you want to happen in your life cannot be less important than what somebody else thinks that you should be doing for them. That's my word of the day. So it took me a long time to be able to say no, but I'm saying no. Okay, thank you, Cheryl. Becky says you're a lifesaver. Thanks for Quilt Cam. I love the camaraderie. Attached is a photo featuring your sewing machine guide. What a lifesaver. I thought my seam guide was in place until my units were clearly not connecting correctly. The units were fine. And now that I've reconfigured things, it's looking good again. So on. And this is Becky in West Chicago. So hello to the West Chicago. She's got her green seam guide right there. Wonderful little tool. Can I share you with another one? Can I share you the updo of the green seam thing? Now this one's clear, but this is going to come in your package for the Essential Triangle tool. And it's got a little dashed line right here. It's more than a 1/4 inch. It's less than a half. This is the bonus line that you will draw. Let's say you're doing stitch and flip corners. You'll draw your corner to corner line. You'll slide that drawn line, that dashed line on the ruler, up to that diagonal and draw your second line, and you'll sew just in between both lines, and you won't have to use the little business card triangle cardboard trick anymore. So this ruler is 5 inches long, has the bonus triangle line, and it comes with the most popular needle holes drilled into it: 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch, and 5/8. We left the 3/4 off because I found that I never used the 3/4 inch seam. Most things go up to 5/8. So this will be included with your, where did it go? Ta-da! This is the Essential Triangle pack. So you'll get the Essential Triangle tool for 1/2 square and 1/4 square triangles, and the bonus buddy as a bonus in the package. And if you wait until these are available and we bundle it with a book at an even more discounted price, you'll get them both, and you'll miss that whole got to be on the pre-order first list. Okay, that's enough spam from me today. Rhea says, Quilt Cam, so glad to see you live. I was just home in time to join in the fun. Love to show you your sweet garlic knot blocks I'm making for a baby girl quilt. So all the blocks will be in red and pink and some I Spy fabrics. Thanks so much for the lovely blocks. You always inspire me so much. Always love to work with your patterns. And as wife from across the great pond from that little green country called Holland. Bye-bye, Rhea. So, oh, Rhea, these are adorable. So here's her garlic knots. My garlic knots, instead of being K-N-O-T-S, are N-O-T. Garlic knot. They're in a box. They're waiting. Other deadlines have taken over, so I need to spend some time kitting those up and then take those on the road. But I love it. Love, love, love it. All right, we got to sew this onto something. Yeah, this is a really wild one, and this is going to be the zinger, because most people would look at this and say, oh, heck no, what did you do here? I was limited on fabric, and I had to grab whatever was in my bag while I was traveling, and this was a fat quarter of gray. No, it wasn't a fat quarter. It was gray strips from when I was doing the gray strip collecting. The strip just happened to be the right size. I cut the pieces out of it, and it's wild, child, but we're going to sew this on here anyway. And I don't want to jinx this, but I am extremely happy that the old laptop's audio is working just fine, which leads me to believe that the problem was a YouTube Google Hangouts thing, not an older laptop thing. That was from last Quilt Cam that we did when the audio cut out about 8 minutes in, and I wasn't touching it. So I don't think it's a laptop. And I don't know why the newer laptop wouldn't pick up the camera feed either. So who knows? That goes to there. Do, do, do. Okay, gotta have two matching. Gotta find two matching. What's this one? These two match. It's like playing match game because they were cut in separate piles, but two matching. Okay. It's always funny at the end of Quilt Cam. Well, how many blocks did you get sewn? 3. Because we chat too much. Did you guys read about the HOA business that's going on up at the cabin? Yesterday's blog post. The title of the post, if you're watching this on YouTube and you missed it, if you go to the top of my blog and you type in this title, it will come up. From Buck Mountain to Basement. From Buck Mountain to Basement. Oh my. The comments at the bottom of the post are what's so funny. So you haven't checked those out, go ahead and do it. Like, everybody needs a little bit of drama in their life, and I think that the homeowners association on the mountain, you know, so the best comment of all, we have this, it's a gated entry. So instead of having a nice gate, it's got these big things that come down, and they're slashed with red lines this way and red lines this way and yellow pylons up the center, and there's this gatehouse. It looks like a Gestapo checkpoint. It really does. So to make it not look so so yeah, we don't want to use the word Nazi on camera, but they took these like bronze buckhead statue bust things and stuck them on top of the poles where the gates come down. And it's like they were not really in scale with the size of the posts, so they looked diminished. So then they made these pedestals and put the buckheads on top of these pedestals. So the funniest comment, to make this a little shorter, somebody said, that looks like a redneck Pez dispenser. I just about laughed my head off. You know, I thought my comment was good, that it looked worse than a 40% off sale at Hobby Lobby. But redneck Pez dispenser, if it wasn't also watched by security camera, we were coming up with all kinds of things like put sunglasses on the deer, or hang stuff off of their antlers, or wrap their necks with boas, feather boas, and stuff. But they do watch that. It's secure. It's got cameras, so they would know. Oh, look, here's a van that says Quiltville on the back. Got quilting? We know who this is. So if you have any HOA nightmares you'd love to share, please send them my way. I would love to commiserate with somebody. Alrighty, the wild one. Yeah, that looks like Hobby Lobby threw up. No, it looks okay. It's all right. It's fun. That just might be the ugly Charlie Brown tree, but once it's in the quilt, you'll say, oh yeah, I remember that one. Okay, that one's gone on. This one has not been sewn yet. Then we'll answer some more questions. Okay. I love stripes. This is a green recycled shirt. The 4 patches are just scrappy everything, whatever I could get out of the bin. So there's some stuff that goes back way to the 90s. Remember that stuff with little quilt blocks on it? And these were all the strips that were too light to be dark, but too dark to be neutral. So we're using those up. Okay. Mary Crowther says, I'm in Wyoming watching you on my phone. Love your finishes. Glad Irene could help get it. Safe travels to Golden. I can't wait to see the next Quilt U. You know, and this is the thing about Quilt U that I'm so excited about. They listen. They listened. Craft University is a subsidiary of F&W Media. F&W Media is what owns the Fons and Porter brand name now, and they also own things like Quilt Maker magazine. They publish all of Tula Pink books. They've got their fingers in just about everything craft related. So they really are a big conglomerate, and they know what they're doing. Their format for the online workshops has been to offer them, because it's university, like offer them quarterly, so that you register for a class. It starts on this date, it ends on this date. And you can download those workshops and own them forever on your own computer. But the way that the industry is going, people don't want to do something within a certain 6-week period of time. They want to take their time at it. They want to be able to watch it at midnight, or they want it to whenever they want to own it, just like they would subscribe to anything else. So starting September 1st, this is really exciting, you will be able to purchase my previous 6 weeks Craft University workshop series that was only available in segments every 6 weeks quarterly. And you can purchase it and own it forever, and it'll live in the cloud, and you can watch it forever. And when this new workshop airs, same thing. The new format is going to be all streaming all the time. Once you purchase it, you've got access to it and access to your instructors all the time. So this one will go, the one that I'm filming will go live in November. The repeat of the previous 6 episode Scrap Quilting with Bonnie Hunter workshop series. If you haven't caught that yet, wait till September 1st. In fact, I don't think they'll even allow you to register for it now, because the current session is almost done. And then coming September, you'll be able to purchase it in the new format. And I'm very excited that they listened to their authors and instructors on what we would like to see done. So that's coming along. CNT blog. I do a blog post for CNT once a month, and I'm always looking for ideas on what you'd like to read about. Maybe there was something you needed more clarification on that I could go into more depth with. That should be going live this next week. I'm not sure which day they've set it for, but I've sent off my post for them already. So that's something to be looking forward to. And what else do you want to know? I don't know. I'd love to see what you're working on as we wind up summer and we get into fall. You know, what would you like to see happen? What would you like to see more of? Share with me what you're working on. Share your finishes, share your progress. You guys are what keep me doing this crazy thing, and you keep me grounded with the communication back and forth and feeling connected to quilters in this crazy way. Else I would just be talking to myself, right? Alrighty. Did I do what I just think I did? No, I didn't. Good. I thought I sewed the wrong one to the wrong one. We'll sew this one more on, get this out of here. We'll take some more questions. One thing I was thinking about, and it's really kind of humbling, I have several friends who publish with other publishing houses. And just a little over a year ago at this time, I guess it was around March, April, when things were still up in the air and we weren't sure what was happening, whether CNT was going to purchase Kansas City Star, whether we were going to have to find another publisher, and several people went other directions. Some went to That Patchwork Place, Martindale. Some decided to just self-publish. Some went to AQS. I have several friends that publish at AQS, and I nearly went to AQS, but I could not lose control or have the 5 books that I already had in print go out of print, and there was really no way to republish them all with another publisher. I needed to move on to new things. So when I spoke with C&T and they told me how everything was going to work, and it would be a very seamless move as a writer for Kansas City Star and going into C&T, and that Kansas City Star would just stay a chapter of, a subsidiary of, an imprint of C&T Publishing. Well, shoot, that was easy. So I did not go with AQS. Right now, I'm feeling like the person who was late to the boat and missed getting on the Titanic. Can you imagine how that would feel for somebody who missed getting on the Titanic, and then they find out later that that ship's gone down? I don't know if you guys have heard, but AQS is closing their book division. And I have several friends who have published with AQS for years, and it's a very scary thing. And having just been through this with Kansas City Star, I know exactly what they're feeling. Some people who have went through this with Kansas City Star are now finding this is happening to them again at AQS. So to those folks who are publisher, you have my heart, and I'm really sorry. It's a tough industry. We always land on our feet, but life throws us some whammies, and I just want you to know that you've got my back. If there's anything I can do for you, let me know. It's hard. Publishing is a hard industry, and I'm sure you've also heard that Quilter's newsletter has also ended. They're not going to be any Quilter's newsletter anymore, and they are part of F&W Media. So could this also happen with Quiltmaker? Yes. Could this also happen with McCall's? Yes. Does the digital age have a part to play in this? Because we get so much off of the internet. How many of you who used to subscribe to magazines and have several are now down to maybe just one or none, and you get everything off the internet? So it's scary. Times change. Remember when people lost all of their jobs, those who were telephone operators who would plug into the circuit board, they lost all of their jobs because technology changed. And that's not a job that's available anymore. So things will change. We'll land on our feet, but it's a very, very scary time. Okay. Jeannie says, future ideas. It seems my favorite Bonnie quilts include strings. So could you have more of these? Absolutely. And that's why I'm working on several string projects behind the scenes, because the next book in the pipeline is the follow-up to String Fling. So as soon as I get enough quilts done, I can put in my proposal, and that'll be next up on the drawing board. So be prepared for lots of more string quilts coming up. Carol Veen says, card trick for Vermonter, please. I'm so glad to have finally been able to catch you live. I was listening to you as you were talking about your new ruler, and it happens I'm working on one of your quilts. Okay, she says, and you explained something about the corner card trick, and I forgot what you said. Okay, so this is for Carol and for anybody else who wants to know about the bonus triangles. Go to my blog at quiltville.blogspot.com and click on the Tips and Techniques tab at the top of the blog. It's best done from a real computer so that you can see the full screen, not just a mobile view. And if you scroll down to B for bonus triangle, you've got the whole tutorial there with pictures and words and everything to show you what to do with those, Carol, okay? Bonus triangle bonanza under the Tips and Techniques tab. If you don't want to use the card trick thing, when the rulers are out, you'll be able to use this, simply the line that's on the top of the ruler here, for drawing the distance between those two seams. Okay? Alrighty. Lots of dinging going on here. Susan Erler says, a recent finish, one more. Finish this top from my sweetie's brother, who is getting married in September. Need to hurry up and do the quilting, but Aliatare is almost done. I have always loved the winding waist pattern. This is just beautiful. And this is Susan's winding ways. Isn't that beautiful? Positive, negative, all the secondary designs that happen in that. That is beautiful. He's going to love it. I would love it. And I have never pieced this one. It scares me. But there is an AAUUGHH die for it, so maybe that's something that I could do in my future. And I do see AAUUGHH, whoops, peeking out in the corner on the quilting frame right there. There's her AAUUGHH corner. I know that. Wonderful. Helen says, from Mississauga, Ontario, it's warm here today and I wanted to stitch down the binding on my quilt. So I'm using the TV tray to hold the quilt and the iPad. Thanks for Quilt Cam. This is a mystery quilt from 2000. And she's got her space there, quilt draping, Quilt Cam watching, hanging out in the basement studio with me today. That is beautiful. Okay. Sarah Weir says, binding fun. Thanks for Quilt Cam today. I'm watching while I bind 4 quilts for others. Before I started on these last night, I checked your ideas on the subjects under the tips tab. Thanks for having your wonderful website and blog. Am I right that you will be including binding in the next classes online? Love you lots from Sally. Yes. In fact, my binding is prepared. I've got sample strips to show how I join them on the diagonal. And those who are new quilters may not have ever seen binding done this way. Those who've been quilting a long time, it's probably very similar to what you do, but for those who haven't seen it done, binding can be scary. As I said, I use a 2-inch strip. Now I switched to that a few years ago. I love a more narrow binding. So 2-inch strips also saves me 20% more fabric. We'll be doing the binding, the stitching of the binding, show how it's pressed, show how I pin it so I get a good trimming and marking spot to miter that final last seam. And we'll include labels and hanging sleeve in that as well. So that's going to be in the workshops that I'm filming this week. I hope to get lots of fun photos while I'm in the studio. So we'll post those on the blog and on Facebook and Instagram and wherever I think that you're watching. Okay. Ting, ting, ting. Annika says, live Quilt Cam, yippee. Nice to see you live. Fingers crossed that the sounds play nicely. This is what I'm working on. Garlic knots blocks. They are truly addictive. I've got 35 right now, but I need a few more to make a bed-size quilt. I have just finished the top that my sister ordered from me. She bought the fabrics, and then I get to play with them. How's that for teamwork? I'll bind it in a dark gray brownish color and have a chocolate-covered back. So this is from Annika from Sweden, and here are her garlic knots blocks. Let's see, well, if I turn that, will it turn? There we go. Aren't those fun? I love them set straight. I've seen them set in a barn raising. I've seen them several this way. They're kind of like a zigzaggy layout, and this way makes interlocking circles very, very fun. I love this with no sashings whatsoever. That's beautiful. So somebody slow my life down. I want to finish my garlic knots so that they can be garlic K-N-O-T-S, not N-O-T. Oh, beautiful. Love everything you sent, Annika. Okay. Here's from Carol Lewin, whose picture is at the top of the blog post. Enjoying watching Quilt Cam for the first time live. What a shock to see my picture on the blog page. Thank you for all you do. So glad she could join us today from the UK. Okay, so this is 406. Let's see. Okay. I am not understanding this. This came from a phone number. So if you're sending from a phone number to an email, please put your name on it because I can't. This is hello, area code 406. I won't give the rest of the number. Had to send myself a test email from my phone to see if it said who it was from. So this is from Diane and Helena, your breakfast buddy. Hi, Diane. She says, how does it work with the online classes and the questions students ask? Since the students take the class in their own time, how often do you have to sign on to respond to the questions? It's kind of like when somebody leaves a comment on a blog post. If you are taking my online class and you ask a question, it generates an email to me. And then I try to answer that email as quickly as possible. If I'm traveling, it may take a little bit longer, but usually within 24 hours, you'll have an email back from me. And it will also post as a reply on the page. So there is a There's a forum as well. When you type a question or make a comment in the forum, it sends me an email, and then I can reply to that, which sends that response back to the forum if you wanted it to be a public response. So it's as fast as I can make it. Sometimes within a few minutes. If I'm at home, my email dings, I can check my watch. Oh, look, that's from Diane. I can send off a reply really quickly. If you have a question with your account or with Craft University and how it runs and stuff like that, that kind of thing I can't help you with. So I would be directing you back to the technical support people to help with that. But if it has anything to do with the projects in my workshops, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I will answer you as quickly as I can. Okay. So glad to hear from you, Diane. Diane was the one who rescued me from the airport in Helena. We went to the vet together. We had lunch, we had brunch together. It was really, really fun. Karen Sue says, Emery Stars. I just started Emery Stars and was wondering if you have a baby quilt book planned. Thanks for everything that you do for us. I've thought about that. I've thought about doing a book of baby quilts, but the string quilt book is next. And then I wanted to do a second Addicted to Scraps book just because I've got several of the quilts in progress. And I suppose I could do the Addicted to Scraps baby book and just turn those blocks into smaller quilts. But yes, down the line. But I can only do one thing at a time. And if I am traveling as heavy as I am, the making of quilts time just isn't working for me. So yes, the answer is yes. It's a matter of when. Want to, really bad, want to. Irene says, what's wrong with this picture? This is from Irene, who's sewing split 9-patch blocks. I think that one has had a limerita on a Sunday afternoon. I think that we just need to turn that triangle and fix it. Isn't that a pain? It happens. I love that scissor fabric. Love the scissor fabric. Okay, let's do a couple more. And then I got to go get packing. This has been tons of fun. Tina Tippin says, string block question. I'll answer if I can, Tina. She says, thank you for sharing your busy day with us. I'm ready now to make some small string blocks for the first time. I understand taking the paper off before sewing blocks together. Question is, do you leave the papers on while they add up until you are ready to sew them together? I was thinking they would hold their shape best if left alone until I was ready to sew. And thanks so much for your heart. Tina Tippin's in Port Orchard, Washington. So I wasn't too far from there when we were sailing out of Seattle. Tina, what I really, really want to do is not leave myself a super huge job all in one big chunk. So I like to work in small increments of things. So I will string piece a stack of string blocks. And then I will trim a few. And then I'll set those aside and then come back and piece some more. And then when I have a pretty good stack, I'll trim those. But you don't have to remove the paper until you're ready to piece them all together if you don't want to. I very carefully remove my paper. My stitches are very small and close together, so I'm not stretching the block or pulling on stitches when the paper's coming off. I don't find I get a lot of distortion, but I would rather not wait until the entire quilt is together to pull the paper off. So I remove the paper before I sew units together, but it's up to you if you want to leave all the paper in until you're ready to sew and then remove all of the paper right before you sew. I find no difference in if I trim a few, depaper a few, put them in a baggie and leave them for a while, than if I were to trim them all, depaper them all, and then sew them. So it's just a matter of how much they're going to be handled in the process. And if they're not going to be handled much at all, removing the paper as soon as you're done trimming them is not a problem. It's not a problem for me at all. But try it. You might try it both ways and see which way works best for you. I believe in options. All right, one more. This one is for Patty Bannister. It says, finished. Just wanted to share my finished Winston Ways in a Texas coffee cup I put together. I think they both turned out great. Have a good day. And this is Patty in the very, very hot heart of Texas. And here's her Winston Ways. And the coffee cup has a plant in it. But look at that. I love seeing your blocks come together. Love it. And it's fun to see not only people's sewing rooms, but where they display their quilts. Maybe we'll do that on the next Quilt Cam. That would be a lot of fun. I would love to see how you display your quilts, whether they're on beds, on chairs, on the back of a couch, hanging on a ladder, over a banister, small quilts, big quilts, whatever it is. I would love to do that for the next Quilt Cam. When next Quilt Cam happens, probably early September, because I'm going to be gone. We'll be looking for that. And by then, we'll also have book order updates and stuff like that to talk about. If it's still early where you are, if you still have energy and want to keep sewing, please do. As for me, I am off to go pack a bunch of quilts into some big rolling suitcases and pack my clothes, which I don't think I have enough of a wardrobe for all of these episodes, and can hopefully not miss anything that I need to bring with me for tomorrow's flight to Denver. I hope you'll follow along. I'll share all the stories as I go. Have a wonderful afternoon, everybody. Thanks for hanging in there with me. I'm sorry about the stupid no video earlier. We had audio, no video. I figure we've gone through the gamut of things that can go wrong, but today seemed to work out okay. For those that missed Quilt Cam today, this will be available in the archives for them, and we'll direct them to it, so they really didn't miss anything. Hope they enjoyed their families on a Sunday afternoon. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend, and we'll catch you soon. Bye, everybody.